Brother زي شوي نقارب رام أخي جيا وش اللي جيا أخي جيا وين سحر هذا أخي خلاص أي برا بدها سحر Oh no.
A couple of announcements before we begin. First one, as you know, inshallah, tomorrow is most likely Laylatul Qadr. So this is a good time, inshallah, for ibadah. So we hope to see you all tomorrow, inshallah. As we announced last night, inshallah, tomorrow we'll have a short fundraiser to complete the expenses of the masjid. Our target is 40,000. If you haven't paid your zakah or zakah jewelry, that would be appreciated, inshallah. A request from a family of brother Muhammad Babar. He's from Pakistan. He passed away recently, and the family is asking for your dua for the brother, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accept him in the month of Ramadan, will give him Jannah and the Shafa'ah of the Prophet sallallahu. Finally, today is the 20th anniversary of the Bosnian genocide. 20 years ago, Bosnians were being killed in thousands by the Serbs. Thousands of Muslim sisters were raped, and the United Nations were there, and all these crimes were committed while the United Nations was there. Why? Because no one was standing up for justice. Even today, in many parts of the Muslim world, the cheapest blood on earth is the Muslim blood. It's cheaper than our gas and oil, right? There are no more refugees in the world than Muslims. No more orphans and widows in the world than Muslims. And no one is standing up for them, right? So I imagine if the same crimes were committed against any other faith or any other ethnicity, somebody would say something, right? So today, inshallah, we're talking about someone, a great personality in North America. Since yesterday we're talking about the Muslim character, the Muslim personality, and today we'll talk about a Muslim who stood up for justice. This person is someone who used to float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. He came to Islam through the back door, the nation of Islam. So who am I talking about?
Muhammad Ali.
Okay, Muhammad Ali. That's good. That's for you. Muhammad Ali. Back in the 1960s, Muhammad Ali won the gold medal in the Rome Olympics. He came back to the US, and he was denied service at a restaurant because he was a black man. He was the champion of the world, but they didn't give him justice, right? So within a few years, he gained more championships, and he became the greatest sports personality of the century. He gained respect from everyone, and he met all the American presidents from the 1960s till today, right? And he was honored by all of them, right? So he gained respect. No one gave him respect. He demanded and he gained respect, right? Why? Because we always say nobody will sympathize with a loser. You have to be a winner. You have to, you make your way to the top. This is the only way you can gain respect. There's no respect for losers, right? So you have always to keep this in mind. You have to be successful at school. You have to be successful in business to gain respect from the people. And this is my message to the young generation, right? Don't expect your parents or your family to do everything for you. You have to win your way to the top, right? So this is the first thing I learned from Muhammad Ali, right? Number two, he refused to serve in the American Army in the 1960s and 70s to fight against the Vietnamese people. So they stripped him of the championship title, they threw him in jail. He said, I don't care, right? But I'm not going to fight against innocent people who live 15,000 miles away, who didn't harm me in any way, who didn't treat me like a dog. He said, if I have an enemy, then the enemy is here in my backyard, who the racist people who were treating him like garbage, and they were asking him to go and fight people who didn't do him any harm 15,000 miles away. So he refused, they put him in jail. Several years back, the court ruled in his favor and they gave him back the title, right? And he was honored again, right? The third thing that we learned from the personality of Muhammad Ali, If you go to Los Angeles, I've been to Los Angeles, the Hollywood Boulevard. They have stars on the floor. If you go there, you'll see stars named after famous actors and actresses and all these things. The only star on the wall is the star for Muhammad Ali. Why? Because when they wanted to honor him with a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame, he said, well, I'm named after Muhammad, the Prophet ﷺ, and I don't want people to step on the name of Muhammad ﷺ. So they made an exception for him, and they put his star on the wall. It's the only star on the wall. Why? Because he has a lot of respect for the Prophet ﷺ and for his faith and what he stood up for. And this is something we can learn from. You stand up for justice and for what is right, and eventually you will prevail, eventually you will be successful, because we always say if you have Allah on your side, it doesn't matter who is against you, and if Allah is against you, it doesn't matter who is standing behind you. So always keep this in mind. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu kunu qawwamina bil qist shuhada'a lillah. And this is the embodiment of the ayah in Surah An-Nisa, Surah 4, ayah number 153. All you who believe, stand up for justice as witnesses for Allah. This is the concept of the talk for tonight. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the best in this life and the best in the life to come. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give Jannah to all the Bosnian brothers and sisters who were killed 20 years ago. Until this day, the bodies are being found in mass graves. So the damage was so much for these families to bear. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give patience to the families and to give Jannah to the victims. Ameen, ameen. The question for last night was, why did Shaitan in Surah Al-A'raf and Surah Sad ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said, "Anzirni ila yawmi yub'athun," delay me until the day of their resurrection. They say because Shaitan didn't want to die. He was afraid of death. Because if Allah keeps him alive till the day of resurrection, there is no death after resurrection. It's either Jannah forever or Jahannam forever. So he doesn't mind staying alive even if he will go to Jahannam, but he doesn't want to die. This is the reason he said, Ya Allah, keep me alive till the day of judgment and the day of resurrection. The winner is Mu'tazim Mustafa. Mu'tazim Mustafa. Okay, we'll give him the prize later, inshallah. He's probably the only one who gave the right answer. So we have to give him a double prize, inshallah. Mu'tazim Mustafa. The question for tonight is easy. What is the reward we get for reciting Surah Kahf on the day of Jum'ah? Based on the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. So what do you get as a reward if you recite Surah Kahf on the day of Jum'ah? And finally, if you know the right answer, email me before tomorrow also at info@mustafa.org. Jazakumullah.